There is a level of discipline so brutal it ceases to be a habit. It becomes a weapon, a force that makes others look at you not with admiration, but with fear. This weapon has a name, Gyōji. It is not a method. It is an unbreakable protocol forged by warrior monks over 800 years of war and chaos to build unshakable men. Be warned, this video is not here to comfort you. It is a death sentence for your weak, procrastinating self. If you are searching for cheap motivation, turn this off now. This is not for you. But if you are here for a rebirth, if you are ready to destroy the man you are, to become the man you were meant to be, then continue. The choice to proceed is yours alone. If you choose the path of rebirth, subscribe to this channel and ring the bell. Your training begins now. Meet Tanaka, a brilliant architect in the heart of Tokyo. By day, he designs skyscrapers that pierce the clouds, monuments of concrete and steel, symbols of unyielding strength. But by night, his own life is a crumbling ruin. He is a master of structure, yet he cannot construct a single meaningful habit. His existence is a carefully managed decay, fueled by caffeine and nicotine. He breathes life into skylines, but suffocates his own potential in the quiet of his apartment. His world is a frantic loop of hollow productivity. He answers emails with precision. He navigates meetings with a sharp mind. But this is a facade. It is the twitching of a dying organism. The moment true, focused work is required, the deep, meaningful design that defines his craft, he retreats. He escapes into the digital abyss, the infinite scroll, the meaningless series, the cheap dopamine hits that bleed his ambition dry, one notification at a time. He makes promises to himself in the morning and buries them by noon. He is an architect who has forgotten how to build. The breaking point arrives not with a thunderous crash, but with a silent, sickening realization. He has a deadline. Not just any deadline, but the project that could define his entire career. The final night, the critical hours, are squandered. Not on a party, not on a woman, not on anything with substance. He sacrifices his legacy at the altar of a worthless television show, watching episode after episode until the sun rises on his failure. The calls from his client go unanswered. The opportunity is gone, forever. He stares at his own reflection in the black mirror of his powered-down computer screen. The face looking back is not a genius architect. It is a fraud, a hollowed-out carcass haunted by the ghost of the man he could have been. The disgust is absolute. This is rock bottom. This is the filthy soil from which true change must grow, or where a man is left to rot. In the suffocating silence of his failure, Tanaka began to purge. He tore through his apartment, filling bags with the artifacts of his wasted life. The empty instant noodle cups, the monuments to convenience over discipline. The gaming console, a black altar where his ambition was sacrificed daily. He needed to erase the man he had become. Deep in a closet, buried beneath years of neglect, he found a wooden box. It belonged to his grandfather, a master carpenter who spoke little but built things that lasted centuries. A man whose hands were a testament to a life of unwavering duty. Inside, there was no treasure, only a single hand-bound book. Its cover was dark, unmarked, save for one stark white character painted with powerful brushstrokes. Tsu, to maintain, to sustain. Tanaka opened it. The first page contained no comforting words, no gentle guidance. It held only a single, brutal sentence that struck him like a physical blow. The problem of modern men is not that they cannot begin. It is that they believe they are entitled to stop. He read it again. It was not an observation. It was a condemnation. The book did not speak of motivation or inspiration. It laid out a cold, merciless protocol. Its name was Gyōji, continuous practice, unbroken, without a single gap. It described discipline not as an action you perform, but as a law of physics you enact. Like gravity, it does not negotiate. It does not care about your feelings. It does not take days off. It simply is. This was not a philosophy born in peaceful temples. It was a survival code, honed by warriors and monks in an era where a single moment of weakness, a single gap in practice, meant death. For the first time, Tanaka understood the depth of his sickness. He had been begging his feelings for permission to act. He was a slave to the fleeting whims of motivation, a chemical reaction he had no control over. The book offered a different path. Not a way to feel better, but a system to become better. It was a weapon, a tool to destroy the internal chaos and forge a new reality. The path would be brutal, the work relentless. But for the first time in years, he saw a way out of the prison he had built for himself. Share this video with one man you know who is fighting his own war in silence. It may be the weapon he has been waiting for. This ancient protocol is not magic. It is a precise, surgical strike against the flawed architecture of the human brain. The warrior monks who designed Gyōji did not have MRI scanners, but they understood the enemy, the weak, negotiating mind, better than any modern psychologist. They engineered a system of neurological warfare. The public declaration is not a promise. It is the deliberate activation of your brain's most primitive alarm system, the amygdala. Your brain is a survival machine, hardwired over millennia. It does not distinguish between social death and physical death. A landmark study from Stanford University revealed that the prospect of public failure, of losing status within the tribe, triggers the same amygdala response as facing a predator. It is a primal, existential threat. By making your commitment public, you are not asking for support. You are holding a knife to the throat of your own reputation. You make quitting more terrifying than the pain of the work itself. The amygdala becomes your drill sergeant. It screams that retreat means death. This is not about accountability. It is about leveraging your own biology to make failure impossible. Next, the protocol attacks the prefrontal cortex, the seat of your rational mind, and the source of all your weakness. This is where the negotiation happens. I'll do it later. I'm too tired. One day won't matter. Every decision, no matter how small, consumes finite mental energy. By fixing the time and the action, you eliminate decision itself. The question of when is erased. The question of what is erased. The prefrontal cortex is given no opportunity to argue. It is silenced. Its energy is preserved not for debate, but for pure, cold execution. This relentless repetition serves a final, brutal purpose: to carve a new neural pathway directly into the basal ganglia. This is the oldest part of your brain, the engine of unconscious habit. For the first 60 days, the work is a conscious effort. You are forcing a path through dense jungle. But with each repetition, the path gets wider, deeper. Soon, it becomes a trench, then a highway. The behavior transitions from a choice to an automatic script. You no longer need willpower. The protocol runs itself. You are no longer the one deciding to act. You are simply the body that executes the command. Tanaka did not attempt to change his life. He attempted to change one single action. The protocol was clear. Complexity is weakness. He chose his weapon, waking at 4:30 a.m. to perform 50 push-ups. Not 49, not 51, 50. No more, no less. The first morning, the alarm was a violent intrusion. The cold floor was a shock to his system. Every cell in his body screamed for the warmth and comfort of his bed. There was no motivation. There was no inspiration. There was only the cold, clear instruction from the book and the searing disgust for the man he was yesterday. He forced his body to the floor. The first push-up was a tremor. The 50th was a war. The next 3 weeks were a special kind of hell. A war fought not on a battlefield, but in the silent, gray moments before dawn. His brain, starved of its usual diet of cheap dopamine and easy comfort, launched a full-scale insurgency. It was a master negotiator, a silver-tongued devil whispering every justification. You're tired. This is unhealthy. You earned a rest. This is boring. The boredom was the most potent poison. The crushing, soul-destroying monotony of performing the exact same act in the exact same way with no immediate reward. This is the great filter. This is where 99% of men break because they mistake this brutal grind for a sign that something is wrong. They do not understand that the boredom is the work. Then, in the 4th week, the rebellion began to quiet. Not because he had won, but because the neurological landscape was being reshaped. The path of resistance was literally being rerouted in his mind. The alarm was no longer an enemy, it was a signal. He began waking moments before it sounded, his body already preparing for the command. The internal voice of negotiation grew hoarse, then faded into silence. The struggle was not gone, but it had changed from an active war into a low, distant hum. The new neural pathway was being paved, forged in the fires of relentless consistency. On the morning of the 35th day, something profound occurred. The alarm rang. His feet hit the floor. His hands were in position. He was 10 push-ups into the set before his conscious mind fully engaged. There had been no decision, no internal debate, no moment of, I should do this now. The action had simply executed itself. The protocol was no longer something he was forcing upon his body. It was becoming part of his body's operating system. The grind had given birth to an automaton. The conscious mind, the weak, complaining self, was no longer the master. It was becoming a passenger. Gyōji was taking root. The system was working. Day 58. The protocol was no longer a conscious effort, it was breathing. Tanaka was becoming the automaton he had read about. The old self, the negotiator, was a ghost, a faint echo in a forgotten room. And then the phone rang at 2 a.m., a call from his hometown. His father had collapsed. A stroke. In the blur of a frantic taxi ride and a pre-dawn flight, his meticulously constructed world was shattered. The controlled environment of his Tokyo apartment was replaced by the sterile, anxious silence of a hospital waiting room hundreds of miles away. Every routine, every anchor was gone. He spent the next 36 hours in a sleepless vigil, fueled by bitter vending machine coffee. His father was stable, but the future was uncertain. At 4:30 a.m. on the second day, the alarm on his phone chimed. It sounded alien and offensive in the hushed reverence of the hospital. Corridor. And with it, the demon returned. Not as a whisper, but as a clear, rational voice of reason. Turn it off. You haven't slept. This is insane. It was the most insidious negotiation yet because it was logical. Your father needs you. Your family needs you sharp, not exhausted from some pointless exercise. Rest. You have earned it. You deserve it. No one would blame you." Tanaka stared at the phone. The voice was right. It was logical. It was reasonable. And it was the most dangerous lie he had ever faced. He remembered the words from the book. The moment you create a gap, you are no longer the practitioner. You are the memory of a man who used to practice. He understood then that this was the true test. Not the boredom, not the physical pain, but this, the perfect, justifiable excuse. He stood up, walked to an empty corner of the hallway, and placed his hands on the cold linoleum floor. The first push-up was an act of pure defiance. He wasn't doing it for his health. He was doing it to kill the voice, to prove that his new self did not negotiate with circumstance. This is the no-gap rule. The understanding that the consistency of the act is infinitely more important than the quality of the act. In that moment, Tanaka wasn't just doing push-ups. He was closing the door on his old identity and bolting it shut. He was choosing duty over feeling, protocol over pain. He was declaring that his commitment was not subject to conditions. It was absolute. The man who finished that 50th push-up on the cold hospital floor was not the same man who had answered the phone 2 days earlier. He had been tested by the ultimate fire, and he had not burned. If you recognize that voice, the one that whispers the perfect excuse, hit the like button. Acknowledge the enemy you must destroy. 1 year later, the Tokyo skyline had changed. The skyscraper Tanaka had almost sacrificed for a night of hollow entertainment now stood as a testament to his rebirth. It was an icon of glass and steel, celebrated for its bold, unflinching design. But the true transformation was not in the city, it was in the man. The frantic, anxious energy that once defined him had been replaced by a quiet, terrifying calm. He was no longer fighting his days, he was commanding them. He moved with the economy and precision of a blade. The change did not go unnoticed. People in his firm spoke of him in hushed, reverent tones. They did not call him successful. They did not call him motivated. They used a different word, scary. His consistency was so absolute, so mechanical, it seemed unnatural. A young architect, emboldened by admiration, finally approached him. "Tanaka-san," he began, "your discipline, it's inhuman. What is your secret? How do you force yourself to do it every day?" The question hung in the air, a relic from a language Tanaka no longer spoke. Tanaka looked at the young man, his gaze steady and clear. There was no pride in his eyes, only a profound stillness. "I don't force myself to do anything," he said, his voice calm and even. "Force implies resistance, a war. That war is over." He paused, letting the silence do the heavy work. "You are trying to do discipline. You are trying to use willpower to command an action. I am not a man who does push-ups at 4:30 a.m. I am the man who wakes at 4:30 a.m. and executes the protocol. The action is not separate from me. It has become my nature." The young architect did not understand. He was still looking for a trick, a technique. He could not grasp the truth. The skyscraper wasn't built because Tanaka found more willpower. It was built as the inevitable consequence of his new identity. He no longer operated on the fluctuating currency of motivation and emotion. He operated on the bedrock of his being. He had stopped trying to be the architect of buildings and had simply become the architect of his self. The results that others saw as extraordinary were, for him, simply the natural output of the machine he had built. Tanaka destroyed the man he was to become, the man he was meant to be. He signed the death warrant for his weakness. Now, the pen is in your hand. Your old self, the procrastinator, the negotiator, the creature of comfort, is waiting for its sentence. It is time for you to deliver it. You will not become unshakable by accident. You will become it by protocol. This is your weapon. Here is how you will wield it. First, the proclamation. Select one habit, not two, one. This is your single point of attack. Now, declare it publicly. Not as a hope or a promise, but as a statement of fact. You are not trying to do it. You are the person who does it. This is your new identity. Post it where others can see. Let their judgment become the fuel for your fire. Second, the unchanging constant. Select one time and one exact sequence of actions. This is not a guideline, it is a law. It is non-negotiable. The weather does not matter, your feelings do not matter. The only thing that matters is the execution of the protocol at the appointed hour. You are removing decision from the equation. You are programming a machine. Third, the failure scenarios. Do not hope for the best. Plan for the worst. Write down the top 3 obstacles or excuses that will break you. Now, beside each one, write the predetermined, brutal solution. When X happens, I will do Y. No thinking, no debate. When the moment of chaos arrives, the answer must already exist. You will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to the level of your system. Now, it is time for your oath. Go down to the comments section. This is not a request for engagement. This is a command. Write one word, GYOJ. This is not a comment, it is a contract signed in digital blood. A declaration of war on your weakness. A public record of the moment your old self died and the warrior was born. Do it now. Forge your honor. Build your habit. Become the blade.